A volatile atmospheric setup across the southern plains culminated in a series of violent supercell thunderstorms on Friday, May 8th, 2026, leaving a trail of significant destruction across central and northern Oklahoma. Residents from Kingfisher to Tulsa experienced a harrowing afternoon and evening as gorilla-sized hail, some exceeding the size of baseballs, pelted the region, shattering windshields, destroying roofs, and clogging drainage systems. The day began with a high-risk outlook issued by the Storm Prediction Center, SPC. Meteorologists had been monitoring a powerful dry line pushing eastward from the Texas Panhandle, clashing with a surge of rich, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. By mid-afternoon, the cap, a layer of warm air aloft that prevents storm formation, broke, allowing explosive updrafts to reach heights of over 50,000 feet. These intense updrafts were the primary engine for the massive hail. In the freezing upper layers of these supercells, water droplets were recycled repeatedly, coating layers of ice until they became too heavy for the wind to support, eventually plummeting toward the Oklahoma landscape at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. The first major severe thunderstorm warning was issued for Kingfisher and Canadian counties. Radar indicated a massive hail core, reflecting high reflectivity values, ZDR, signaling stones at least 2 inches in diameter. The Metro HitAs, the storm system tracked northeast, the northern fringes of the Oklahoma City metropolitan area, including Edmond and Deer Creek, were struck. Commuters on the Kilpatrick Turnpike reported being caught in whiteout conditions, not from snow, but from the sheer density of falling ice. The White Friday in Collinsville and Owasso. By early evening, the focus shifted to northeastern Oklahoma. In Collinsville, the hail was so prolific that it accumulated several inches deep on the ground, creating an eerie winter-like scene in the middle of May. Locals dubbed the event White Friday, as snowplows were ironically discussed as a potential solution to clear the icy slush from the roads. The damage reported on May 8th is expected to rank among the costliest hail events in the state's history. Vehicular damage. Thousands of cars sustained total loss damage. Dealerships along the I-35 corridor reported hundreds of new vehicles with shattered windshields and bodywork that looked like the surface of the moon. Rooftops across suburban Oklahoma were stripped of shingles, leading to secondary water damage as heavy rains followed the hail. In Tulsa, power lines were brought down not just by wind, but by the weight of falling ice and falling tree branches weakened by the bombardment. Farmers in rural counties reported devastating losses to winter wheat crops, which were nearing harvest. The hail effectively mowed the fields, leaving nothing but stalks behind. It sounded like a freight train of glass hitting the roof, said Sarah Miller, a resident of Owasso. We retreated to the interior bathroom, and even through the walls, the thudding was deafening. When we walked out, my husband's truck had no back window, and our garden was completely obliterated. In Stillwater, students at Oklahoma State University reported hail larger than golf balls bouncing off the pavement, causing pedestrians to sprint for cover inside the student union. While the storms of May 8th have moved east, the threat is not over. The National Weather Service, NWS, warns that the stationary front remains draped across the region. For Saturday, May 9th, and Mother's Day, May 10th, additional rounds of storms are expected. The ground is saturated and the atmosphere remains primed, said a lead forecaster at the Norman NWS office. While we hope the worst is behind us, residents must remain weather aware through the remainder of the weekend. Emergency management officials urge residents to check for roof integrity, use a professional to inspect for hidden hail damage that can lead to leaks, take photos of hailstones next to a common object like a coin for scale, and damage for insurance claims. Keep a weather radio or smartphone alerts active, as nighttime storms remain a possibility. As Oklahoma begins the cleanup process from the May 8th onslaught, The resilience of the Sooner State is once again on display, with neighbors helping neighbors clear debris and patch roofs before the next cloud gathers on the horizon. A violent supercell thunderstorm tore through Canadian County on Friday, May 8, 2026, dropping a staggering volume of hail that literally repainted the city white. The atmospheric setup began early Friday afternoon as a dry line pushed eastward, colliding with unstable, moisture-rich air over central Oklahoma. By 6 p.m., the National Weather Service, NWS, in Norman, issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Yukon and surrounding areas, citing life-threatening hail and destructive winds. As the storm core moved directly over the Yukon Parkway and the I-40 corridor, the sky reportedly turned a bruised shade of green, a classic meteorological precursor to significant hail. The most striking aspect of the May 8th event was not just the size of the hailstones, but the sheer accumulation. While individual stones ranged from the size of quarters to baseballs, the volume was so intense that it created hail drifts against homes and fences. I've lived in Oklahoma for 40 years, and I've seen big hail, but I've never seen the ground stay white for hours in May, said Marcus Sterling, a local resident whose backyard was covered in 3 inches of ice. It's 80 degrees out, yet I'm looking at what looks like 6 inches of snow on my patio. The combination of high-velocity winds, clocked at 70 miles per hour, and heavy ice took a visible toll on the community. Hundreds of cars parked outdoors suffered shattered windshields and extensive spider web cracking. Local body shops reported a surge in calls within minutes of the storm passing. The heavy hail acted like a giant lawnmower, shredding early summer gardens and stripping leaves from trees. Local nurseries are expecting a difficult season, as many young plants were destroyed. Falling branches weighed down by ice and whipped by wind caused localized power flickers and outages for several thousand residents across Yukon and Piedmont. Yukon police and fire departments remained on high alert throughout the night. Fortunately, no major injuries were reported, though officials cautioned residents about black ice conditions on the roads immediately following the storm as the hail began to melt and refreeze in lower patches. Meanwhile, the most widespread damage has occurred in residential neighborhoods. Roofing experts who arrived on the scene early this morning described the situation as a total loss for many homeowners. High-velocity hail impacts have caused severe bruising on asphalt shingles. This involves the displacement of protective granules, exposing the underlying fiberglass mat to UV rays and future water infiltration. Metal sheds, carports, and pergolas have been riddled with indentations. In many cases, skylights were completely shattered, allowing ice and rain to enter home interiors, leading to secondary water damage to ceilings and hardwood floors. Soft metal components like aluminum gutters have been crushed or deformed, rendering drainage systems ineffective for future rain events. Owasso's parking lots and residential driveways resemble a war zone of dented metal and shattered glass. Total losses. Hundreds of vehicles have sustained pitted surfaces across every panel. Insurance adjusters expect a high volume of vehicles to be declared total losses due to the cost of paintless dent repair, PDR, exceeding the vehicle's market value. Commuters were caught off guard as baseball-sized stones punched through windshields and rear windows. Local glass repair shops report a backlog of appointments stretching into next month. City-owned vehicles and emergency response units also sustained damage, though essential services remain operational. Driven by wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour, the hail did not just fall vertically. It acted as a horizontal barrage against the sides of buildings. Vinyl siding in newer developments showed signs of extreme brittleness, with many panels featuring jagged holes and cracks. Beyond broken glass, metal window screens were shredded, and vinyl window frames were dented or cracked, compromising the thermal seal of many energy-efficient homes. Air conditioning units, condensers, located outside homes suffered fin damage. The delicate aluminum fins were flattened by the hail, obstructing airflow and potentially leading to system overheating and compressor failure. Local gardens and municipal landscaping were decimated. Trees were stripped of their foliage, defoliation, and small branches littered the streets, temporarily clogging storm drains and causing localized street flooding. City officials are urging residents to be wary of storm chasers, unlicensed contractors who flock to disaster areas. Local insurance agencies are setting up mobile claims centers to handle the thousands of expected filings. While power has been largely restored, the physical reconstruction of roofs and siding in Owasso is expected to take 6 to 12 months, given the shortage of labor and materials. Meanwhile, scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could become severe, will move through North Texas on Friday. Expect an uptick in elevated showers and storms over the course of the day, particularly in central Texas, where the most abundant moisture will be located. Forecasters with the National Weather Service Dallas-Fort Worth office said, while severe weather on Friday afternoon appears unlikely, forecasters say the potential increases late Friday moving into Saturday. A chance of strong to marginally severe storms is in the cards, alongside a possible hail threat. Given the unstable air mass in place, a few storms may be on the stronger side, bringing the potential for small hail, gusty winds, and/or frequent lightning, forecasters wrote. Rain chances are expected throughout the weekend. There's a line of strong to severe storms popping up in central Texas Friday and early Saturday, bringing locally heavy rainfall, especially along and south of the Highway 90 corridor, according to the NWS Austin-San Antonio office. On Friday, chances of rain showers are mainly expected from the hill country eastward into the I-25 corridor and the coastal plains. Friday evening into Saturday, rain chances spread westward into the southern Edwards Plateau and Rio Grande Plains region. If strong to intense convective clusters form, increased rainfall rates will lead to isolated instances of flash flooding, local NWS forecasters wrote in their outlook. Houstonians can also expect cloudy skies this weekend, with the chance for showers and thunderstorms Friday afternoon and evening. Widespread rainfall totals are predicted to be generally manageable, but the NWS Houston-Galveston office is warning heavier totals could result in localized flooding. Friday afternoon through Saturday morning appear to be the time frame of most concern. Houston forecasters wrote in their outlook, not every location will receive a heavier thunderstorm, but those that do could experience localized flooding and perhaps strong gusty winds. As of Thursday evening, forecasters said the locations of those thunderstorms was hard to determine, but that they may occur in southeast Texas's southern or coastal counties. After calm weather and warm temperatures in the Panhandle on Friday, the NWS Amarillo office anticipates thunderstorms will roll in. A few storms could be severe, with large hail and damaging wind gusts, Amarillo forecasters wrote in their outlook. The severe storm threat appears to end in the early evening on Saturday, as the storms move into western Oklahoma, if any develop in the eastern panhandles. With the cold front south of the area on Sunday, temperatures will be a bit cooler with highs returning to the 70s, forecasters wrote. Meanwhile, showers and storms moved through the viewing area Friday evening. Some of those storms were severe, particularly in the River Valley. There were numerous reports of hail and damaging winds from those storms. The chance of showers and storms will decrease for the first half of the weekend. Saturday will generally be a dry, breezy, and warm day. However, our next chance of showers and storms will start moving in very late Saturday night and into early Sunday morning. Sunday is an impact day for northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. There will be potential for several rounds of showers and storms on Sunday. Sunday will likely be mostly cloudy all day in both northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. We'll likely have showers and storms periodically throughout the day. The Storm Prediction Center has much of the viewing area under a marginal risk for severe weather. A slight risk for severe weather has been introduced into the southern part of our viewing area,